Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Excel. In this module, I want to go through the end result of the first exercise from part one of this course. So on the screen, I have the exercise file open and I'm going to fill in what it says here. So it says type Jan and then basically pull that across using the fill handle in the bottom right hand corner of that cell all the way across so it puts the months in across the top. Then I'm coming down here to add up this, do the max, min and average functions on this green area for each month. So first off, I'm in cell B13. That's just the sum function. So clicking sum, checking it picks up the right list, B5 to B12. Yes, it does. Clicking the tick. 319 is correct. Pulling that all the way across into the blank cell at the end, and then repeating the process for the row totals like so. Sum, checking it comes B5 to M5, yes it does, tick, and then I can get the little black cross and double click it down because I've pulled this one across and that's a stopper. Now the min function and the max function, the average function are all on the little drop down next to the sum icon. So I want max first off. So what's the maximum spend? Now it's coming down to B13, but I only want that to come down to B12. So I need to change that to a 12 and then tick. 55 is right. I'll pull them across as a block. And then we're going on to the next one, which is the min function. And same thing's going to happen. It's going to come down to, in this case, B14. That only needs to come down to B12 and then ticking that. And then last but not least, the average function, selecting average, checking the reference at the top, changing that to B12, B5 to B12, tick. 3988 is correct. Now I can highlight these three, get the little black cross and pull them over as a block right over, and I get the averages, max and mins of the total. Now some of you will be saying that you can just highlight that and get the formula that way, fine, but I want you to pretend that this is 10,000 rows deep. There are key commands to highlight ranges, but I want people to practice editing formulas up here. That's why I've done it that way. Now percent is not a function. This is just basic maths, and it's going to introduce another feature which we can look at in more detail in a later session. So first off, I want to know what each of these monthly totals are as a percentage of the total at the end there, 4782. So the formula is this, starting off with equals, clicking on B13, doing a divide and clicking on N13. B13 divided by N13, that's right, tick, and you get a number less than 1. Now a lot of people would go after that times 100 and that would give them the percent, but it would be a number, not a percentage. Whereas what you do in Excel is you can either click this percent button here and adjust the decimal places, or you can drop the arrow down next to general and select percentage down here, which is already on 2 decimal places, to get the correct answer, 6.67% with the percent sign. So that's correct, but this is what's going to happen now. When you go to pull that across, I'm just going to pull it across 2 cells. You get an error message, and if I click on the first one to highlight what's happening here, C13 is the total for February divided by O13, but O13 at the moment is this orange cell, which is a blank cell. So basically, as I pull that across, and if I just zoom this down a bit, if I click on this next one, that is going to be moving across to P13. So there's nothing in P13 and there's nothing in O13. So that's what it's saying to you, I can't divide by nothing. So what you have to do was 2 ways of fixing this, the long way and the wrong way. The wrong way would be to manually type this, C13 by N13, D13 by N13, E13 by N13. There's only 12 months, so it wouldn't take you too long. But if there was 10,000 rows, 4 hours later, cup of tea and a biscuit, feeling good about yourself, should have done it in 6 seconds. So that's how bad Excel can be if you don't know certain things. Because what you should have done is come back onto the first one that's correct, tell the computer not to move along when I pull this across, stay there, lock it, Make it absolute is a technical term. Most people say fix it or lock it. So I want N13 locked. All you do is you click onto the formula bar. Now you can actually, we just need to lock the N. So you could put a $sign in front of the N because the $sign is a symbol that Excel needs to see. Or you could press the F4 function key, which will put $signs in front of the N and the 13. The 13 for this example would be irrelevant, but it doesn't matter, it would still work. I'm going to tick that and then pull that over and you'll see that how that would work. Like so, all the way across. Now I'm going to do that again coming down. So I want to know what 1025 is as a percentage of 4782. So that's going to be equals, this time it's going to be N5 divided by N13. Now I know that I want to pull that down, so I need to be locking that N13, otherwise it's going to come down into these cells. So that's F4 I'm pressing now, and then I'm going to tick that, and then it needs to be formatted to a percent. So I'm going to general and then percentage, 2 decimal places, and then I'm pulling it down into the orange cell but not past it. So that's how that works. And like I said, there is another module coming up which will go through the $signs in a bit more detail. But for now, I just want to go on to this next sheet and look at basic formatting features that we haven't looked at so far. So in this example, we have a title there where on the first part of this course, I got you to use merge and center like so, but this time I want you to do what's called wrap text, where it just wraps around in one single cell. Now that might be something like this. We've got some narrative, some quantities and a picture. If you don't wrap your text, you end up having columns like this. Now there is a key command to wrap text, so I'm just going to type some random text and do Alt Enter. When I do Alt Enter, it basically wraps the text around at that point. So I could do it like that, or you could just click on a cell and click wrap text, and the same thing will happen. When it gets to the end, it will just come round like so. But what you're doing is you're saving the need to have wide columns by wrapping text. So that's that one, wrap text. Coming back, another one I want to look at is highlighting all of the months and using this AB tool and selecting angle anti-clockwise. If yours says counterclockwise, it's set to American, but angle anti-clockwise like that. Or you could go rotate text up like that. Whichever you do, it's to save space, so you're not printing off onto 2 pages when you've only got 1 column dropping over. You can just narrow these columns in a little bit. I've got hashes on that there, so I just need to double click on the dividing line between column B and C in this case to widen that up. Now what I want to do is I want to highlight this bottom row. I want to put a red border on that. Now in the borders area, you have got the option down the bottom there to draw a border and change the color, but I want to not do that. I want to get into format cells and do it through format cells. The key command to get into format cells is Control and 1. That will get you into format cells, and then you can click on the border area, and I want to select a thick border and I want it to be red. And then I also want it to be just an outline. So you must click on one of these options so you see the preview there, otherwise it doesn't apply. When I click OK, it also looks like it hasn't applied until you click away, then you realize it has. Now underneath that, I want to highlight 2 rows. I'm doing Control 1 again to get into format cells, because what I want to do there, on the Fill tab, there is a feature called Patterns. I just want to put some shaded area in there to sort of divide this table from other tables. It's not shaded so people can type on there. That's not the idea. The idea is that it makes this a distinctive gap between this data and any other data that might be below. Now if I come up a bit, next one, 23rd, I want to type 23 RD. Now I'm pressing enter on that. Now in Word, if you type 23 RD, that would have automatically gone superscript as it's called, but in Excel it doesn't. If you want that to be superscript, you need to highlight on the formula bar the R and the D. and then you can do control 1 again and it will come into format cells, but because you highlighted it like that, it will only show you the font tab, which is great, and that's what I want. Superscript. Click OK, and then it goes up like that, and then you might think it's like a date, but it's not, because I've pulled that across. It just keeps going on and on and on, like so. Now this one is a chemical formula, sulfuric acid. If I type that out with caps lock on, H2SO4, the 2 and the 4 need to be subscript down. So I'm highlighting the 2 up there, doing control 1 to get into format cells, and that's sub down, subscript, and then I'm highlighting the 4, control 1 again to get down, sub down. OK, and that's how you create that chemical formula. Now this one is 23 degrees, but that's not actually a degrees, that's the letter O, superscript. I'm going to use my number pad and the Alt key to get me a degree symbol, then I'll show you where that is. So I'm going to type 23, then I'm holding the Alt key down, and on the number pad I'm going to type 0176, and when I let go it will give me the correct degree symbol, which is a circle. You can see the difference between the two. Now that is coming from, if I go up to the top, insert symbols over on the right. When you click on insert symbols, you've got loads of symbols, and when you click on some of these symbols, it will give you the actual number that you can type if there is a number for it. So some of them have a number, some of them don't. If I just change this over to the next one, so I'm not sure if that's a number. That's definitely not the number. So that would be 032 to get that, Alt 032 to get that, and some of these have got numbers and some of them haven't. So it's just a case of trying, but the degree symbol is 0176, and the micron symbol has got ones, and the plus and minus symbol has got one as well. So that's 55, 55. Try that one. And now you can either use a number or you can insert it, but that's why I was able to do Alt 176. So the next one I want to look at is flash fill. So if you come to flash fill, this is a really cool feature. Basically, if you've got a list of emails, say 10,000 emails, and you want to get the names off those emails, these are hyperlinks. I can't actually click that. But what I'd have to do is get there, sneak up on it with the tab key, and then cut and paste it from up there, which is going to take me ages. So I don't want to do that. I want to use flash fill, which allows you to type an example, so my name, like so, press enter, and then do control E, and it will extract the rest off. You might have to give it more than one example if there's more random emails than that, but you, at least if you only got half a list, it's better than starting from scratch. So that's flash fill, control E. Now this example where you've got data in separate columns and you want it all in one column, there are functions like concat and concatenate which should do this, but flash fill does it as well. And flash fill is not using any formulas, so you just type out an example of what you want, so my name and sales, press enter, and then do control E again, and it will pull it down. It will also cascade any typos that you might do. So flash fill will join cells together like so, having given an example. Now if you want it the other way around, so let's say somebody sent you a spreadsheet or you've output from a non-Microsoft source and everything's in the same cell and you want to split it off, this time you need to go, we'll highlight it first, go up to the data tab, over to where it says data tools, and there's flash fill up there, look, which has been around since 2007, so it's not a new feature. But this feature, text to columns, if you click on that, it's asking you if your list is delimited with a space or a comma or a tab. Yes, it is, so you can leave it on that. And then you go next. You then have to tell it what it is delimited by. It's not a tab, it is a space. So take tab off, tick space, and then you'll see the dividing lines. And you can just finish at that level, because the next and last step is just if you wanted to change the data type. I don't, so I'm just going to go finish, and then that will knock it over and break it off. Now the last one I want to talk about in this little section is find blanks, and a really useful feature this is. Again, I want you to think of a bigger picture. 1,000 staff have to do 5 phases of training. When they've completed a phase, you are typing pass. When they haven't done it, it's just blank. But your boss comes along and says, I don't want that just to be blank. I want you to type pending in there, and then we can use conditional formatting to color up pending red and pass green, etc., etc. How long would that take you to fill that in? It could take quite a while if there's 50,000 blank spaces. Or you could do this. You could highlight the whole of the spreadsheet, the whole 50,000, go back to the Home tab, come across to the right where it says Find and Select, and click on the little magnifying glass. Go down to the 4th option there, go to Special, and then when that comes up, you've got an option in there that says Blanks. Select that, click OK, and it will highlight all the blanks. Now the trick to this is don't click anywhere, just type the word pending and do Control Enter, and it will fill it in for you. So Control Enter is the trick there. Now you can also do that anyhow, Control Enter. So if I highlight column H and type my name and do Control Enter, it will fill my name all the way down 1,000,000 rows. Now if I do Control and End, that will take me down to the bottom of this spreadsheet. So that's how many rows is on each sheet. And then Control Home will bring me back up. And then I don't want that, so I'm clicking on the H and I'm pressing my Delete key. Now, a thing that I get asked quite a lot is dates. So people want the same date in multiple cells. So if I do the key command for today's date, which is Control semicolon, that's great. Now if I pull that down, by default, that's going to increment by 1 day. Now I'm just going to move this little box out of the way. However, if I use my control key when I pull it down, so I've pulled it down saying, but now holding my control key down and let go, that copies the same date, which is great. Or I could have done this, highlight the space that I want, do Control semicolon, and then straight away do Control and Enter, and it will achieve the same result. So Control Enter is quite a cool thing to remember. But that's all I want to talk about in this little video, how you can do some additional formatting, how flash fill works, and how find blanks and Control Enter works. So hopefully this video is of use. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you on the next one.